So there's this story in the Gospel of John where Jesus and his disciples are traveling to and fro all these different towns, and crowds are following him. They want to hear what he has to say. They want to see the signs and wonders wherever he goes. They know he can heal people and he can exorcise demons from people. And so wherever he is, they know that the kingdom of God is going to be present. So he gets quite a name for himself, and he tells his disciples, let's go somewhere remote where we can just get in sync with God. Take a break from this, find a moment to get fed by our Maker. But that doesn't really work out because the crowds follow them there, even out in the middle of nowhere. And his disciples come up to him and say, listen, these people they're getting hungry. They listen to you. Will you just send them away, tell them to go to a town nearby and get themselves some food? Jesus says, well, why don't we feed them? And one of the disciples says, well, that would be like half a year's wages to feed all these people. That would be crazy, ludicrous. We can't do that. And then there's a little boy who has a lunch with him, a few loaves of bread, some fish, and he's willing to give his food for this cause to help Jesus' ministry out. It's this amazing thing. And Jesus, you can imagine he looks at this child with a twinkle in his eye, this gift from a child that seems so small, so insignificant. Yet Jesus sits down with these loaves of bread and he begins to tear them apart and hand them off to his disciples to give to people. And the disciples, they have to be thinking to themselves, this is nuts. This is not going to feed 5,000 people. It's not going to work out. What are we even doing? These people need to leave and go find food for their families. But he keeps tearing up pieces of bread and pieces of fish and handing them out. And you can imagine as a disciple takes a portion of that bread and he's handing it to someone, he'd look down and notice that the bread's still there as he's handed it off to 12 people. And this is kind of interesting. And he keeps feeding more and more people and keeps looking down. There it is, this incredible miracle that's that Jesus is performing right before their very eyes, that they are a part of, that they're seeing unravel before them. The kingdom of God is happening with a few loaves of bread and a few fish. It's an amazing thing. And what Christ is teaching us here is that when we give to God, when we give to others, we need not worry so much about what we're going to have left, because what we have in the midst of all this giving is the kingdom of God. We have the very presence of God in these moments when we give to others, when we feed, when we help out. And there's so many experiences that the people of God have of giving something, like sending a check to the missionary whenever they don't have much for themselves, only to receive another check in the mail. I can think about the times that I've given to a cause and worried, well, am I going to be able to take care of myself, only to have God provide in some other amazing way. When we make sacrifices to Jesus, we can be assured that we're putting our lives in his hands, that we're trusting him with ourselves, that we're trusting him with our daily bread, that we're not worrying about tomorrow. We just need him for our daily bread.